This video is made with the sponsorship of Ecrotech New Zealand, one source for all your beekeeping requirements. Hi, Trev here from Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. This is the next instalment of our queen raising videos, and we're going to concentrate today on this little piece of equipment on the top here called a Cloake board. That's C-L-O-A-K-E. And it was invented by a New Zealander, South Islander, Harry Cloake, way back in the mid-1900s, I think. Anyway, Harry was a beekeeper from down the South Island, and he was obviously a fairly astute man and figured out a bit more about queen rearing than what most of us do on our own. So, as I've said in the first video on the queen rearing, we have three stages where bees make queen cells. They make a queen cell for supersedure, they make a queen cell for swarming, and they make emergency cells. And we can get into other things, but those are the three main reasons. And what we really want is we want emergency swarm cells, and that produces the best queens. And normally in a commercial situation we have starter and finisher hives. Bees in an emergency situation are generally queenless, so therefore we need to start the cells in a queenless hive. Bees won't start cells, apart from supersedure, in a queen right hive. So we need to make the hive queenless, and then we need to have it with lots of bees so it thinks it's in swarm mode. So Harry came up with this system here, which is this piece of equipment. And it's a queen excluder, so you can trap the queen in the bottom box. You notice I've got two boxes on here. I'm going to show you how we put this on in a minute. So the bees can work, come and go, and they all go out through the front door. If we put this sheet in like that, now the bottom box would be queen right and the top box would be queenless. However, we would now have locked all the bees in and they can't really get out. So we need to show you how we're going to do that, how we set this up. So Harry designed a method for a commercial situation where you'd have your big powerful hive, two boxes of bees, whatever, and they would all come in through the front door. If we actually closed, in fact we'll leave them like that, so we've got these two doors closed, this one's open. So the bees are coming and going in through here. If we close this door and open one at the back, the bees would figure out the doors at the back, but they're orientated to the front door. So when they leave the back door, they'd go out and forage and come back and they find that there is no doorway here, it's been closed off. So they would then generally climb up the front of the hive, because they're lost at that stage. They find there's an opening up here, and they then go into the top box, and that just jams the top box with bees, with all the foragers, and it depletes the bottom box. Generally the cloak is put in for 24 hours. You then graft at the 24-hour mark, leave the cloak in for 24 hours, pull the cloak out, and when you remove the cloak, it's now a whole queen-right hive, but the queen can't come up to tear the cells out, and she can then the bees will continue drawing those cells. But there was one drawback. Because most of the hives didn't have a door on, the back door, they just had the front entrance. Harry's method was to turn the hive around. So let's set this up. Okay, so I'm just going to set this mock hive up as though it was the hive out in the wild, or out in our queen rearing yard. So we've found the queen, and she's now downstairs laying eggs, doing her thing, and the front door's open. This is our cloak board. This is the entrance it's going to be, and we put that entrance to the back, and we have a door here to stop the bees coming in and out through this way. And we have the other box up here. At this stage now, remember there's only got a queen excluder in. We have bees in here with the queen down here. Every week you need to take brood out of here and put it up here, so you've always got brood up here all the time. And you need to have at least a couple of 3 frames of uncapped brood, because that keeps your nurse bees up here. And the entrance way is around here. So remember, using our queen raising calendar that I showed you in the grafting video, we've put it's got on there that we put the cloak board in on today. 24 hours later we do the graft, 24 hours later we take the thing out. So what we do, how do we operate this? That's the front of the hive. The first thing we have to do out in the wild, out in the queen yard, is we need to turn this around. There's no entrance here. The entrance now is at the back of the hive. But we need to take this doorway out. The bees can get in there. We put it 24 hours, when we turn that around, we then slide the cloak in. Now the bees will come home from foraging, where they've left from out here, find there's no doorway here, climb up the hive, up here, and they walk inside here. 24 hours after that, we will do the graft, and we will put the graft in the middle of the hive. We'll show you that soon when we go out and do this in real life out with the bees. Put the graft in, leave it there for 24 hours. Then in 24 hours time, we're going to remove the cloak board, put the door back in so the bees can't use the back door. We're going to pick the hive up and we're going to turn it around again. So now the bees are now going back into the queen side of the box, queen right side, and they will come up here and look after and finish those cells off. So only 48 hours with the cloak. But can you see the obvious flaw in this system? We've got to keep picking this hive up and turning it around. And I'm naturally lazy, so I'm going to show you what I have decided to do with my bees. So we'll get rid of that. Remember, when I'm doing my bees, I'm only a hobbyist, my queen raising, and I only need to have 10, 15 queens at a time, however many they produce, and I'm not doing it commercially. So we made up a couple of 6-frame nuke boxes. Well, that's what I use for my queen raising. I've got several of them out in the yard and they're running at different cycles and times. So here's our hive here. Full of spiders. So in here we have the front door, but here I have a back door. So we've got the nuke out in the yard. It's got 6 frames in it. My cloak board, and this is the doorway for the cloak board, so I can open and close it that easily. And we only have 5 frames in the top box, because the top box is going to have the grafting frame in, and the grafting frame will go in the middle there. So it'll have a spare frame in it when it's out on the job. We'll show you that shortly. So what do we do? How do we operate this system now that's so different than the other one? Well, not a hell of a lot of difference. Front door. Today we come out, we close the front door, and we reach around the back, and we open the back door. So now the bees will automatically find their way out. They'll come back to the front, and we open that big door. And we can now put the cloak board in like that. The bees will come home, oh, can't get in. They'll walk up here, find there's an entrance here, come in here, fill this up. All okay. 24 hours later, we do the graft. 24 hours after that, 48-hour mark, we then pull out the cloak, close the back door, open the front door, and it's all operational. That's so much easier. Oh, no, one more thing we've got to do. We didn't close the top entrance. Doesn't really matter if you don't close the top entrance, but I'd like to. Right, so we're actually going to produce a video of how I made these, what I made them from, and whatever. So keep watching. We've got a video on those nuke boxes, and they work very, very well. So the next thing is, how do we make a cloak board? So for starters, it's not hard. Buy yourself a wooden framed queen excluder, and you notice I like to put these cross rims on the underside, so when you slide anything on here, it's easier to clean and it's easier to keep the wax off and such like. Doesn't matter what happens underneath. Okay, so we got our little 3 pieces of timber. about 20 mils by 15 mils, cut the little slot in it, and then I cut them off and glued and stapled them down here, nailed them, stapled them, screwed them. Who cares, so long as you fasten it onto the top. That's now left a nice little rebate all the way around, and because we haven't put anything across the front, we've got a big doorway all the way across. I'm a engineer by trade, and I've got access to a bit of sheet metal working gear, but you can go and get something like this made pretty simply, or you can go inside and steal the oven tray out of your wife's oven, cut it down to size so it fits in here, and that sits in there like that. I then have a piece of wood somewhere. But that little piece of wood is the doorway that fits across there. So that stops the bees coming and going through that entrance. That's it, cloak board. Let's go and throw on a bee suit, and we'll go out there and show you it in action in one of my other nuke boxes that's already set up. Alright, this is my latest queen razor with a cloak board in place, although the sheet is not at this stage. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to walk through and set this up so I can do a graft tomorrow. I've also got a frame of cells here which have not been grafted into, and I'm just going to put those in there for the bees to clean up. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do, but the bees get over there and they clean all the cells out. So we'll just throw the hood on. I haven't lit the smoker because it's a really sunny day in the middle of January, and we'll work on that. So first off, we'll come around the back here. One of the things I like about the Paradise hives, they have under nuke boxes that is designed for, you can have 2 lots of 3. There's a door here, and there's a door diagonally opposite at the other end. So we'll just open that up, and as you can see, the bees start coming out of there straight away. That's their new doorway for 48 hours. We'll go around the front. The first thing I do is I open the top door. Get my sheet. Give that a little bit of a jiggle. I just like to go slowly. Look at this. You see this? This is a steel blue ladybird. And it's the first time I've seen them. And they're all over this hive in particular. Don't know why. So we'll close that up. Just the fact I've done that, this top half now is queenless. So using a little bit of water, I just give the bees a little bit of a wash, and that helps them get out of the way because they think it's raining. And now you watch, and the bees will already start walking up here. So now we're going to go inside the hive, and I'm going to put my grafting frame in here, but there's no graft in it. This will have about 5 times the amount of bees in it in 24 hours. So this is just a blank frame that I put up here. And I've already been through and made sure I've got lots of brood up here. and I'll put this right in the middle where it's going to go. As you can see, I like these. 6 frames are really good for this. Put that all back together again. And as you can see, there's a lot of field bees coming home, but they don't take long and they're already starting to work out to walk up here. Look, there they go, going in there already. A couple of bees scenting to show that this is home. Got their butt in the air and fanning out the perfume to say, oi, home's up here. There they go, look at that. Bunch of pollen going in. So just move around here a bit. So, that's it. Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. Cloak boards, wonderful invention. See you around in the beehive.